God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege, and this is the Protege program coming to you on this week of the Thanksgiving Day holiday. It's a short work week for me, and I think I've decided I'm going to go ahead and record a video early to upload on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday. Friday, I haven't decided yet on whether or not I'm going to record something early or if I'm going to do some research that day. We'll just see what happens. We'll see if anything comes up that I think I could talk about and have go live later. But that is all in the days to come. Right now we're going to be talking about this column from Byron York that went up in the Washington Examiner. The last time we talked about the Trump dossier, do you remember what I said? I said that the most damaging allegations haven't been verified. I think the last time I commented on the dossier was when Rachel Maddow had said something about many of the elements in it being verified. Well, as it turns out, the FBI and the DOJ are apparently, have made no progress in verifying this document since they first laid eyes on it, which, as it turns out, they first laid eyes on a part of the dossier all the way back in July of last year. So what are we going on? 18 months now that we've had this dossier and it's unverified. But let's just look into what Mr. York wrote in this column. The FBI received the first installment of the dossier in July 2016. It received later installments as they were written at the height of the presidential campaign, which means the Bureau has had more than a year to investigate the allegations in the document. The dossier was financed by the Hillary Clinton campaign and compiled by former British spy Christopher Steele. Remember when those revelations were breaking that Hillary and the DNC had funded the document, that Christopher Steele had put it together? No, the Republicans didn't fund the document. They didn't fund Mr. Steele. All of this were allegations put together ostensibly by the DNC and the Clinton campaign. And it's all unverified. And now we're hearing it's kind of been compiled in this column by Byron York. In August of this year, the House Intelligence Committee subpoenaed the FBI and the DOJ for information on the Bureau's efforts to validate the dossier. Specifically, the subpoena demanded any documents that memorialized DOJ and or FBI efforts to corroborate, validate, or evaluate information provided by Mr. Steele and or sub-sources and or contained in the Trump dossier. According to sources familiar with the matter, neither the FBI nor the Justice Department has provided documents in response to that part of the committee's subpoena. But face-to-face briefings with the congressional staff, according to those sources, FBI and DOJ officials have said they cannot verify the dossier's charges of a conspiracy between the Russian government and the Trump campaign. Now remember, this is the current year. This is the age of technology. This is the age of basically anything and everything has evidence of it somewhere. More than one person saw something happen. Somebody's cell phone recorded something. It's my policy that if somebody's making a claim that something bad happened to them or some hate crime, thing, we had the hijab bandits that were alleged, but then it turns out totally made up. That was where I first began this policy that, I don't think I've said it, but, it's the current year, pictures or it didn't happen. If It's the age of the smartphone. If you didn't get a picture or a video, or nobody got a picture or a video of the thing that you're saying happened, then it didn't happen. And in this age, the age of technology where the DOJ and the FBI are supposed to be like keeping track of all of their activities, nobody has written down any documents that memorialize their efforts to evaluate the information in the dossier. No documents have been provided in response to the subpoena for any documents that memorialize DOJ and or FBI efforts to corroborate, validate, or evaluate the information. They haven't even given any evidence that they've tried to corroborate these allegations. They're just acting on the dossier, assuming that it's true without actually trying to verify any of the claims. And this news appears to contradict recent statements from some top Democrats like Adam Schiff, who said a lot of it has turned out to be true. Well, as we know, FBI and DOJ officials have said they cannot verify the dossier's charges. That means that they're not true, by the way. According to... Is this the same Schiff? Yeah, according to Adam Schiff, the biggest thing I think people need to realize about the dossier is that Christopher Steele discovered that the Russians were embarked on a broad effort to help the Trump campaign before our own intelligence agencies came to the same conclusion. In the broadest outline of what he investigated, he provided more than prescience. He provided accurate terms. He proved accurate in terms of Russian involvement and what their motivations were. But this is a claim that hasn't been verified whatsoever, which means that we can't accept it as true. Democrats accept these unverified claims as true because they want them to be true. If these had been verified allegations, if everything in the Trump dossier was verified to be true, then there would be a lot of things that could be used to blackmail the president. And now that it is out in the open, now that everybody knows about it, it would be things that he couldn't be blackmailed with. There have been a lot of questions surrounding the dossier. Who paid for it? Who were its sources? Did the FBI use it as a basis to request a secret court's authorization to spy on Americans? That's the big one. Is they used this document that hasn't been verified to spy on the Trump campaign. But the most important question about the dossier is the most basic one. Is it true? It contains many specific assertions that could be verified by an organization like the FBI if any were accurate in the first place. And then he goes on to list several of these, and they're just... some of them sound absolutely insane. And I don't want to take the time to read a lot of them, but I do want to point out at least one group of assertions, the one concerning Michael Cohen, have been convincingly debunked because Cohen produced proof that he was not in the Czech Republic or even in Europe when the purported meeting took place. I remember this one being debunked right away. The first time we ever heard about this dossier, way back, I think it was in January of this year. We heard about this dossier, we heard about this Michael Cohen guy, and he immediately provided evidence that those allegations weren't true. But then we didn't hear about any of the other allegations of whether or not they were validated. And as it turns out, they still haven't been verified. This is coming now from the FBI and the DOJ. The FBI and the DOJ are not vouching for the accuracy of the substantive allegations of collusion in the dossier. And in my opinion, they're not even trying to validate the dossier. And again, They're using this dossier as evidence that there was a broad effort by the Russian government to influence the election. In the roughest sense, this is correct. Everybody is trying to influence everybody else's election. And the reality of the situation that we're living in today is that there's still 18 months later and counting, zero evidence that the Trump campaign did any work with the Russian government to try and win this election. It remains unverified, therefore it remains untrue. That's going to do it for this video. Short and sweet and to the point. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you leave a like and subscribe. And hit the bell for notifications so that you don't miss a single video. Come back next time. Until then, good night and God bless.